All right, Shalom. First off, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahusah, Bashem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and the sincere Solomon to the Akim out here that's doing again, pushing this work of truth and in sincerity. I want to go on this video that the men of the Lord will be villainized very soon, okay? And I'm gonna go into the scripture, Isaiah 29 and 21, and it says that makes. I start at 20. It says, let's see. Yeah, I'll start at 19. It says, the meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, right? Terrible one. And it says in the Amplified version, the tyrant will come to an end. It says, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. Okay. It says that make a man an offender for a word, okay, and lay a snare for him that reproves in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Okay. So, we're about to because of, us speaking this word, the scriptures, they about to lay a lot of false claims to us, okay? Accuse us of doing, different things, okay? Because that's what the devil does, okay? But with that, being villainized, comes, our lives being put on the line, okay? And, eventually they will grab some of us up, man, okay? But that's a part of the cost that comes a part of, being in this truth, being in this faith, okay? Isaiah 59 and 14, and judgment is turned away backward, and justice stands afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Okay? So, the more and more we get closer to the end of this thing, okay, the more and more those so-called rights that people have or think that they have are going to be taken away. Okay? So, how much more for us to come out there and speak against the ways of this place in the way that we do, okay? We're looking at is the domestic T word, you know, and we ain't out here putting killing nobody or you know doing anything that people would think is if you had some sense, like we not out here, messing up the world, okay? We messing up this society as far as telling people to wake up, the Israelites, trying to reach the elect, you know, but even with that, like reaching the elect in this society, the elect is going to get sealed either way. Okay, 2/3 of our people are 2/3. It ain't nothing that they can do. You can have them. Okay, so it's like if they really understood what we speak about, particularly we us at Great Millstone. Okay, the realizing that it's only about the elect, we only for the ones who the Lord prefers of everybody. Okay, the message is not for everybody. So if it's a limited number, then that would mean that they really don't care about us reaching that limited number. Okay, and that we should be put to death to be in their mind. Okay? It says, yeah, truth fails, and he that departs from evil makes himself a prey. We departed ourselves from evil. So if you were doing the right thing, then you wouldn't be. I'm talking about if you was doing the wrong thing, I should say, then you wouldn't catch the hell for it. Okay, from that society. Okay, because that's cool. You continue to do evil, and they want that. Okay, they want people to continue in their ignorance and wickedness. But waking up and departing from it, now you making yourself a target. It says, and the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Okay, and he saw that there was no man, and he wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore, his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness, and it sustained him. Okay, we have a intercessor between the Most High and us. Is Yahweh Shah. Okay, he's gonna come and deliver us from this man, try and make us out to be the villain, when we're really the victim, you know. But it says, the men of the Lord will be hated, mocked, and villainized in the last days. Okay, especially in a generation. It says the scriptures show that when truth is spoken, especially in a wicked generation, God's servants will be falsely accused, persecuted, and treated like enemies. Hate for the truth. John 15:18. If the world hates you, you know that they hated me before it hated you. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. Yahweh Shah warns that his followers will be despised just as he was, simply for standing for truth. They hate, Amos 5:10. They hate him that rebukes in the gate, and they abhor him that speaks uprightly. In corrupt times, people hate those who call out sin or speak righteously. Okay? Uh, and a lot of the narrative is going to go, in order for us to go back to a sense of normalcy, we got to get these people out the way. That's one of that's one of the things that's going to happen too. You know, uh, false accusers or accusations and slander. Matthew 5:11, right through 12. It says, "Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. The righteous will be lied on, slandered, and portrayed as evil, but it's a sign of blessing." Isaiah 29. Oh, we read that already. The wicked twist words and villainize the righteous to trap them. And you might have people who come up to the camps and try to record us saying certain things, or they might be putting a video compilation, whatever. We got agents out here that are being sent or will be sent to further try to demonize us. Okay. Matthew 24:9, it says, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." Okay, hatred and demonization of God's servants will rise globally. Okay. Word flipping, good and evil, right? It says, Isaiah 5:20, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. In the last days, standing for righteousness will make you look like the villain, because society has reversed truth and lies." Okay. In Wisdom of Solomon 2:12, in the Apocrypha, "Therefore let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean, contrary to our doings. He upbraids us with our offending the law. The righteous will be demonized simply for exposing wickedness. Okay. It says the Bible makes it clear that in the last days the men of the Lord will be villainized, lied on, hated, persecuted, and even killed, because they stand as a reminder of God's truth in a world that loves lies. But this hatred is actually confirmation of being in the will of God. Okay, rather be loved by the Lord than to be hated. Okay, of the Lord. Okay, or loved by the world, you know, and hated by the Lord. Um, Ephesians 5:16. Okay, um, it says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Okay, redeeming the time. The word redeem, it means to buy back, make full use of, or rescue something valuable. Paul is saying believers must wisely use every opportunity for good, because time is short and cannot be wasted. Because the days of evil, the world is increasingly corrupt, hostile to God, and full of temptation. So the men of the Lord must walk carefully, making every moment count. Okay, and it says, in the evil days, truth is scarce and wickedness is normalized. God's people must stand strong, even though they will be villainized for speaking truth. Okay, this verse is a call to urgency. Don't be idle or distracted. Use your life, voice, and actions to represent righteousness, because the window of time is closing. Okay. Um, Romans 13:11. It is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay. So it's going to be even more people that wake up, as, these, uh, the days, get closer to the end. There's going to be more people waking up. Okay. And they don't like that. They don't want to see that, and eventually we'll get, you know, we can't go out there. We won't be able to go out there on the highway and have just and teach this word, you know. But that's just what it is, man. That's a part of the Lord's will, a major part, who the real believers are and everything like that, if you're gonna be able to, endure unto the end. So with that, Lord willing, this is edified. I want to say shalom till next time.